There are several factors that affect the number of goods and services supplied by producers. We call them goods and services supplied by producers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, I am Mohammad Sirajuddin bin Jamaludheen Maricar, Matric number 1830809, and today I would like to talk about one of the managerial economic concepts that I have learned in my class, which is the concept of supply. So stay tuned. So, what is supply? According to Will Kenton from Investopedia.com, supply is the total amount of a specific good or service available to consumers. If displayed on a graph, it can relate to the amount available at a particular price or across a range of prices. In general, the number of goods or services supplied by producers will increase when the price rises because all firms look to maximize their profits. This is an inverse concept to demand, whereby consumers will demand more of a specific good or service when its price drops. There are several factors that affect the number of goods and services supplied by producers. We call them the supply shifters because they can shift the supply curve to the right as a sign of increasing supply quantity and to the left as a sign of decreasing supply quantity. The first supply shifter is input prices. It is the cost involved in producing goods or services. The willingness of producers to produce output at a given price will change as the production costs involved change. Next, changes in technology and government regulations can also affect a producer's quantity supply. Changes that make it possible to produce a given output at a lower cost have the effect of increasing supply, and vice versa. The third factor is the number of firms or producers in the industry. It plays a significant role in the level of output supply in the market. As more companies enter the industry, more and more outputs are available at each given price. Similarly, when companies leave the industry, the number of outputs will also decline due to the reduction in supply. Following that, firms can also switch their production line when their current products incur high costs. For example, when the production cost of cars increase, an automobile company can switch to producing motorcycles with lower production costs. This is called the substitutes in production for producers. On top of that, imposing taxes will also cause firms to reduce their supply in the market. Hence, both excise and ad valorem tax will increase production costs indirectly. Finally, producers' expectations about future prices also affect the overall supply in the market. For example, if producers expect that the price of the products they are selling may increase in the future, they may halt their production today to supply more in the future when the price goes up. The online news that I chose related to supply concept was excerpted from the Channel News Asia (CNA) Singapore. The article's title is "Chicken Shortage at Some Singapore Wet Markets Ahead of June 1 Malaysia Export Ban." The news was dated May 26, 2022 and was reported by Jalila Abu Bakar. The article described the current situation in Singapore's wet market, where most chicken sellers are experiencing a 20 to 70% of fresh chicken supply shortage. The supply issue comes ahead of Malaysia's ban on poultry export from June 1 to ensure sufficient supply in the domestic market. As a result, Singaporeans began panic buy many fresh chickens from the wet market to ensure their stocks last longer. According to Mr. Lim, one of the chicken sellers at Geylang Serai Market, frozen chickens are famous among eateries but not among home cooks. However, given the current situation, frozen chickens are also highly demanded by Singaporeans due to the lack of supply of fresh chickens. Therefore, the price of frozen chickens per kilogram increased drastically, similar to the price of fresh chickens. Many sellers exclaimed that they would have to shut their businesses down if Malaysia prolonged the export ban for more than 3 weeks. However, Mr. Hashim Abbas, who has been in the industry for 53 years, believed that the ban would not last for more than a month because Singapore is an essential source of business for Malaysian chicken suppliers. Being a Singaporean who grew up eating chicken, I always thought that chicken is an endless food supply that will always be available in Singapore. However, the current chicken shortage issue made me realize that nothing is everlasting in this world. Therefore, as a vicegerent or Khalifah on this earth, we should wisely manage every resource that Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala has bestowed upon us and not to take them for granted. By that, we will be more grateful and appreciative to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala and become more responsible consumers. The chicken shortage issue in Singapore can be categorized as a national crisis because it affects many Singaporeans significantly. Hence, as a sign of mercy to all creations, wa rahmatan lil alamin, the government should play its role by providing financial aids to the needy people in order for them to buy chickens. Besides, the government should limit every buyer to purchase a specific amount of chickens per day. And finally, the government should contact suppliers from other countries who can supply chickens to cater Singapore's market. These are crucial steps that the Singapore government have to take in order to ensure all people in Singapore have an opportunity to buy chickens for their consumptions.